Starting today, I'm going to show you how to release a hidden reservoir of power that has always been inside you. This is a power that can transform any area of your life, and it can also impact the lives of others as well. But most people are not even aware that it exists. So let's dive in. Welcome to Success Sundays with Harrison. I'm your host, Harrison Wilder. I'm a corporate strategist and entrepreneur with an executive MBA from the George Washington University. I've managed two multi-million-dollar companies, and I advise top-level executives from a variety of industries. In this show, you'll find practical insights that will help you succeed as a leader in today's business environment. If you're serious about developing your skills as an executive, this is the place for you. Enjoy today's episode. When I was younger, my hustle game was on point. I did it all, and I mocked anyone who didn't put in the effort that I did. In fact, I worked myself so hard. I skipped sleep, I skipped meals, and I remember being so frustrated with my body that it couldn't keep up with the demands that I put on it. Have you ever felt like that? Like, why do I have to stop to eat? Why do I need so much sleep? Maybe you have so much you want to do, so many dreams to pursue. Well, I drove myself into a health crisis thinking this way. In fact, my lungs stopped working when I was 17 years old. Over the next few years, I had to have surgery in both lungs just to keep them inflated, and I learned that my physical body had limits. But I didn't want to settle. I didn't want to compromise on my dreams, right? Just because I could only do a certain amount of work every day. And I know that you feel the same way. I mean, what if you could achieve all of your desires? What if everything that you dreamed of could be achieved and you didn't have to run around hustling all the time? What if operating under the confines of your physical limits, you could still experience the life that you've always dreamed of? Well, over the next few episodes, this is exactly what I want to unpack, because so many people are hustling and grinding, driving their bodies into exhaustion and not getting any closer to their dreams. Do you know what I'm talking about? Well, look, I've explored this over the last few years, and I want to share with you some of the insights that I've discovered. But I want to tell you, it's not going to be easy to step into it. Although the principles are simple to understand, applying them requires that you be willing to let go of some of the beliefs that have been holding you back and to begin embracing a world of abundance that you most likely have been conditioned to believe does not even exist. I want to tell you about my friend Carl. Now, Carl is pretty successful by most normal standards. He has a decent job. He and his wife provide a nice home for their children. They feel safe, but Carl hates his life. Well, hate is a strong word because hate requires feeling deeply passionate about something, and Carl doesn't allow that. He learned a long time ago not to get too excited or too upset. He learned that if he could manage his expectations, that he wouldn't have to experience disappointment. So Carl doesn't hate his life, but things, if they get too quiet, these nagging questions start to surface in his mind. Things like, is this really all my life is going to be? Like working to live so that I can live to work? What happened to the old me, the passionate me, the dreamer? And why do I feel so emotionally drained now? Carl might ask himself, am I somebody I want my kids to become? What are the questions that roll around in the back of your mind and sometimes come to the surface? Do you allow yourself an occasional honest assessment? Or like Carl, is that exercise a little too painful, a little too unhelpful? Thankfully, there are enough distractions in Carl's life to keep these thoughts at bay. He's got family responsibilities, work, commute, sports radio, news, Netflix, house projects, nights out with the boys. Most of that is enough to fill in the time between sleeping. And in fact, for Carl, it feels selfish to spend too much time really pondering his own level of satisfaction with life anyway. Of course, Carl didn't come by this life on his own. He doesn't know it, but he's actually a product of a well-developed system of education, a system where church and state and educators and employers and even entertainers all cooperate together to produce the human resources that they need. Listen carefully, people who do what they are told. Now, Carl wouldn't outright say that he is confined, but here is confined Carl's reality. He cannot stop working. Other than a few weeks of paid leave, he spends most of every day doing work he would not do, or in a way he would not do it if he didn't need the money. He doesn't allow himself to entertain his deepest dreams and desires. Not only do they seem far out of reach, and frustratingly so, but he's not even sure it's appropriate for him to be so self-centered. He and his wife have had to entrust other people to educate their children. With their work schedule, they simply don't have time to do it, nor do they feel that they have the expertise to do it. So from ages 4 to 22, they hand this responsibility to teachers and ministers that they feel are more qualified. Carl doesn't want to rock the boat and create instabilities for his family. So his kids should enjoy the same opportunities as Carl, to go to school, get a job, provide a decent life for a family. Carl once tried to pursue a dream. He actually worked hard at it, but it didn't pan out, and he made an internal vow that he won't make that mistake again. Now, Carl may not completely hate his own life, but there is another guy that drives confined Carl a little crazy. I mean, Larry lives by a different set of rules. His life seems recklessly adventurous to Carl. Larry listens intently to the desires that are in his heart. He allows himself to get excited about them. He actually spends a good part of his day thinking about his desires, journaling about them, imagining exactly what they will be like when he experiences them. And then very often, Carl will hear that Larry is off in some remote corner of the world doing the crazy things that he was dreaming about. Now, Larry's kids used to go to school with Carl's kids, but they got kicked out because they missed too many days. Right? They were traveling with their parents and they weren't showing up at school. Well, Larry and his wife, they pay very close attention to their kids' desires. They expose them to as many related experiences as they can. And each of his children, they seem to be on their very different and unique paths. Larry's life is designed intentionally for maximum flexibility and maximum impact. And to confine Carl's mind, Larry and his wife are a little over the top. Right? They're too hyper-focused on their goals, not settled enough. Carl's wagered that Larry and his wife are eventually going to crash and burn. But Unleash Larry's reality, it's like so different than Carl's. He only does work that is connected to his desires. He listens intently to his desires and to those of his wife, using them as guides for the decisions that he needs to make. He and his wife are cultivating the same convictions in their children and are positioning themselves as their children's primary coaches and encouragers. As a result, they work with their children to chart unique development pathways. Larry doesn't seem to work hard at all, yet his dreams seem to find a way to him. Okay, so if you haven't figured it out yet, Carl and Larry aren't real friends of mine. Obviously, Carl and Larry are designed to expose two competing worldviews that reside within many people. Most likely, you sometimes relate to the mindset of confined Carl, and at other times to the mindset of unleashed Larry. These next few episodes are going to help you to cultivate Unleash Larry's mindset and finally experience the life that you've always desired, the life you were created to experience. A life full of purpose, adventure, and fulfillment. At the same time, it's going to challenge you to let go of the chains of confinement that hinder Carl from experiencing his best life. I'm going to start outlining many of these limiting mindsets in the next couple of episodes. But for now, it's just time to make a decision. Do you want to join me in this journey? I'm going to reveal to you the pathway by which all your desires can become fulfilled. So will you take the path of Unleash Larry or stay in the confines of Carl? Every episode, I like to leave you with a success challenge of the week. And this week's success challenge is super simple. I want you to decide which path you want to take. If it's Unleash Larry, then proceed on and join me in the next episode. If it's confined Carl, look, there's no shame, but you don't need to proceed any further. This is not going to be the show for you. It's going to frustrate you. And I don't need people out there who don't like me, so we can part ways now as friends. But for those of you who want to live the unleashed life, if you have any questions for me that I might be able to help you with on a future episode, you can post them down in the comments. I love to hear from you and love to create content that is super helpful for you. So put them in the comments and my team will tee up those ideas to me for future episodes. And until then, have a great week and I'll see you in the next episode. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. You know, great businesses and great leaders are built using effective communication. For more, go to speakingschool.com, grab my Elite Business Success Toolkit for free just for trying out our Speaking School membership. That's speakingschool.com. See you next time.